Okay, just a couple more weeks before you won't see this background because I'm moving to my new amazing place right on the water. Well, I have a water view here of the Gulf, the bay, and then the Gulf. But I'm facing this way and I see it off in this angle. I'm actually going to see an entire horizon right on the water with my beautiful balcony in my new place. It's going to be amazing. And this is amazing. I'm not going from something bad to something better. I'm going from something amazing to something amazing. We're shifting our energy. I'm going to talk to you today about what's going to happen when we go into this new era, because we really are going into a new era. You're going to see it. A lot of changes on the planet are happening that are actually opportunities for us to go into the new earth. I'm going to talk about that, something I saw Dolores Cannon say, and the Counsel of Nine, of which I met one. You ready? Let's go. Welcome to Landria Onkka on YouTube, here to help you break through fears and live an amazing life. Get your coffee. Beautiful day here in Florida. And then a couple weeks ago, it was pure chaos. I just saw, and my heart goes out to those in Valencia, Spain. I saw 250 people in climbing died in a flash flood. It looked way beyond what we experienced here. Mud. We had sand and water, but they had mud, and it was devastating. We're going to see more of that because the planet is changing. She's evolving. And so even if we took care of her, she would evolve. She has cycles. We cannot predict those, but we certainly need to stop abusing her beautiful hosting abilities. You know, you go into somebody's home and they, oh, come be my guest, and you rip the place apart. That's what we're doing. Now, I'm going to ask you to subscribe. We're going to raise the frequency of YouTube when you do that, because then the algorithms say, peace, love, compassion, it's going to start directing traffic over to that, which is not just my channel, but others like mine, because I'm going to tell you something today that I saw that was very disturbing. Now, I do not watch news. Occasionally I do to watch the weather patterns, or if I see what's going on out there, it's not because I'm seeking it out. It keeps me in a much more peaceful place because almost everything's made up. Also, I want you to know that when I watch YouTube, I'm trying to get information on things that I'm not knowledgeable on. So, when you watch one or two videos, it doesn't make you an expert, but at least I can share some information with you and allow you to make up your mind. So I apologize if I ever don't quote something accurately about astronomy or astrology or tarot cards or anything like that. Because the bottom line is you absolutely control your reality. So any of that is just part of a program that comes around that says, here are probabilities, possibilities, opportunities. What are you going to do with them? It's always your choice. So we have been traditionally saying this is happening, and then you participate in it. You entangle with what you believe is going to happen that's negative, and thus we created. That's how we've been operating up to this point. It's changing, because one of the things that's happening, the most powerful thing that's happening on this planet, is that we're breaking past the limitations, limiting thoughts, and we're going into a higher frequency. What does that mean? We're going back outside into the, let's just say, etheric realms that are always here, and so we're becoming less dense. Now, I have been in a mega super awakened state. What does that mean? That's when you're actually outside of your body while you're walking around. And I stayed like that for a couple of years. I know Eckhart Tolle did. I read his book and I went, oh my gosh, he didn't know what it was either. I didn't know what it was. I had never read anything like that. I didn't do any, no YouTube, nothing. So I didn't know what it was. I just knew that I was in a state of such a euphoria and pure love, and that I actually was aware of that in the room. I didn't see people, beings or whatever, but I was up here I was observing from up here, not separately, but here and here. So we always say, oh, you were up here. No, I was expanded into that. So what happens is I want to teach you how to start doing this. Because when you expand up here, you are in that state of peace and you find fault with absolutely nothing. Now, the toughest part about that is that you see just how destructive everything else is, and you will experience the sadness of that. And some people go in deep depressions because of it. I didn't. I realized that through my state of enlightenment, I was able to affect others in a positive way. So you got to watch that and just say, okay, I've got to let go of what's happening out there and the pain and all the things that happen to you, because it's part of the program and you are here to make a higher choice and get through that. That's what's going to challenge you most. Now, here's what I want you to know, and this is a little bit more advanced. And if you saw my book, I wrote that book with this knowledge. All right? I was getting up and screwball out. I'd wake up at 3 a.m. and clairaudient started telling me stuff. I got in front of my computer. I would write for hours, then go to bed for an hour. It was just coming to me. And I wrote the book, and at the end of, let's say last year, I was told, this has to come out now. Isn't that interesting? I didn't know about Uranus, and I didn't know about Uranus. I didn't know about the feminine era, Red Star Regulus that's going to open up a new era of peace. I didn't know any of that. Hadn't heard anything. I was getting this pure now. I try to not watch anything because I want to come from that space. So I never want to hear some other spiritual leader or some, whoever expert. And then I find myself spewing stuff back to you, and subconsciously I'm picking up their stuff. I purposely don't learn all of that so that I'm getting pure information, and I want to teach you how to do that. You can, and you're going to get all kinds of answers. And people call it intuition, and that is absolutely a part of it. So intuition is that perfect part of you that knows that this belief is, we're going to put it over here because what I'm feeling here doesn't go along with that. But most people don't go with this. They go, well, this is what I've been told or whatever, and thus we stay in the same old patterns. I'm going to share some things with you about Dolores Cannon. I am a quantum healing hypnosis technique hypnotist trained by her. She's gone now, but I think they still teach those classes. They take people into past life regressions, and you can tap into other beings who speak through those subjects. And that's what she was doing. She was getting information. She is not a psychic. She's not a medium. She made that very clear. She was getting information from these beings on the other side. They called themselves the collective. All right? It was not a archangel. It was not the person's protectors. It was a much higher group of beings called the collective. They made it very clear to her that that's who and what they are, that they don't have bodies, that they are just ultimate consciousness, no barriers. Now, they actually gave her a name because they said there are no names over there. We are one, so we don't need names. We don't have separate bodies. We just are aware of each other's thoughts and actions and choices and whatever. We are one. We are one here too. Now, I'm going to share something that may be tough for some of you to believe. We are one, and if you've read my book, you know this. Nothing's separate. It appears to be, because that's the test, because that's the ultimate opposite of what we are, is separate and individual. We are one and one mind, one perfect light and loving being energy, which is all things. Okay, so there's no separation between me and this table and the air and the beings that are in this room and other dimensions that I can't see, thank goodness, because I have to focus on this. Now, what I want you to know is the angels and the guides, the archangels, and everything all the way up is also illusion. I know this is tough because we want to think there's somebody out there that's going to save me. No, there is something that I can go to that's going to save me, because you think you're an individual and that you aren't that power. And so you want to think, I have one guardian angels, archangels. Yes, you do have those. That is real. So I'm not saying they aren't. What I'm telling you, that they're illusion just like this is. So they play the role and they do have powers, just like you do. But they're just in a different form. They are a form in the game. They're part of the game. So they're very real and they will help you, but they can't interfere with you and your power, and they're just waiting there saying, we just have to wait until they figure out that they have equal power and that they can do everything that they're asking us to do. And when you ask and you feel like you can't, but you believe and you go into faith, they will assist. But they can't interfere with that free will. And the whole point is for you to know that you can do these things, that you are all powerful. I'm going to help you do that. From here on out, I'm going to start teaching you how to use these powers. Now, you're still a human being, and we still have self-imposed limitations, and we're experiencing that. And so, if we just went into our perfect, state of being here, without any journey along the way, no game. Might as well just, bug off and go out into our, other existence out there and ditch the body. So no, we get to go through the pathway. We get to learn things. We get to explore the powers. We get to know what it's like to be in a dense body and to tap into that. It's pretty darn cool. I had what was called the fourth sight. I didn't know what it was. I asked a friend who studied Eastern religion and spent some time over there, super cool guy. And I told him what I was experiencing. He said, oh, you have the fourth sight. I said, what is that? You actually see into another dimension. And I was walking around like that. It wasn't like I would say it once in a while. I was so aware of the other dimension in the room. And the funny part was other people weren't. And I'd sit there and I think, they're not seeing what I'm seeing. Colors were different. Things were much more intense, and there was depth like you've never imagined. There was a presence of love in the room that was overwhelming. I mean, I just had to hold back from crying all the time because it was so much happiness and joy. And I was there, and I was sitting with my friend one day, and I said, you don't see this, do you? And she says, what? I said, that everything's alive and intelligent and loving and deep and gorgeous, and she gave me a look like it was wackadoodle, which, in her world, I was. You can go into that state of being, and it's beautiful. Now, same thing, I just went into it. You don't know when you're going to go into it, but you have to practice and let go of everything else. That's all you have to do. There's no one way. So people say, this is the way, this is the way. Say, yeah, that's one of the many ways. There are no limitations. Everything's an illusion. Everything's an illusion. And you are the equal energy power that's creating it, right? You're the illusion. You get to play out this illusion. There are angels that are playing out their illusions. Now, there are, and this is when Dolores Cannon comes into play. One night in my state of between awareness and dream state, I go into that every night. I was out in the cosmos, and I ran into somebody. It was a man in a white robe. Of course, it always is. They appear as what we can recognize them to be. That's personal, by the way. That's all illusion created for you individually. Somebody else might see somebody different. And I saw him, and he was with me, and I said, you're not... I was thinking, I know you're not God. Are you Christ? I didn't feel like it was Christ, but he was absolutely, amazing. He said, no. He said, I oversee the galaxy. There are 9 of us. There are others I answer to. I said, what? What do you mean oversee the galaxy? That's new to me. You oversee the galaxy? Yes, I answer to others. In other words, he said, I'm on that level. But then there are those, it never ends. It never ends. Because once you go to a certain state, you don't have to come back to be a human being. You're done with that, right? I've done that a few thousand times, right? Some have, some haven't. Where do you go? Maybe you're a guardian angel. Maybe you're an archangel. Maybe because remember, they are not individuals. They are one and everything. So everybody can be that. This is the toughest part because we're so difficult to imagine that we are something beyond individuals. That I am you at the same time of being me and everything else. But that it's not Landria being you. It's the energy field of the one source that is all these things. But sees through our eyes as individuals. So, when we go out into these functioning programs, Galaxy's one of them. He said galaxy, not solar system, by the way. Something has to oversee these things, right? Because that's part of the game, is that everybody has an assignment. It doesn't have to. It can function on its own because it's just all... But somebody gets to participate in that. So there's councils. And so there's councils that oversee that and this and that. And of course, universes. I don't know why we call it universe. There's no end to it. So how can there be universes where one ends and one starts? No, there's no ending to anything anyways. We have to do that to wrap our head around things. So when he told me that, that was the only conversation I had with him. I came back and thought, what? There are councils overlooking the galaxy? Well, that's pretty cool. I like that idea, don't you? We're not out here yin-yangs winging it on our own. Density. Eee. That's why we can't blow things up. And there is a limit to what we can do, so relax about that. There will be some things that are going to shift the planet. There are people that will exit. That's going to happen. That's by choice. And there are people that are going to stay here and transition this planet into something freaking amazing, and that's your choice. Everyone is allowed that. Every single person is allowed that. Some people came here to experience the darkness and follow that through. So it does exist. It's the game. Now, you get to choose. You can go into the amazing era. Now, here's something really interesting. Dolores Cannon has some really cool videos out there. So I watched one of her old videos. Only watched them off of her channel. I saw somebody, I started to watch one, and she started to say, Dolores Cannon, who's written these books about demons. I went, okay, click. Crazy person. She wouldn't allow anybody to put comments, and I know why. Stay away from that stuff. Dolores Cannon absolutely was an amazing, beautiful person. She was just doing things people had a tough time accepting, and that is that there's guidance and things outside of this realm in other dimensions that we don't see. And so she pushed those limits way ahead of her time. So during this video that I watched, she said that there are councils, that the collective told her there are councils. There's a Council of Nine that oversees the galaxy. And I had never heard that. I've seen the Council of Nine somewhere. I don't know what that means. I never watched those videos or tried to figure that out. I'm like, because I'm just not really that interested. I'm busy doing my stuff here. Creating stuff to help people get past their limitations. But I thought, oh my gosh, there's a Council of Nine that overlooks the galaxy. I got to meet one of them. Woo! How cool is that? So it wasn't some dream I'm making up. I'm like, I'm telling you, we're going to go into this stuff and I'm going to show you how to do this. Shut down anything that's negative. The minute somebody says, and they can fool you, I'm going to talk about Dolores Cannon. And then, out comes this stuff. We're going to shut all this stuff down. We're going to shut it down on YouTube, on social media. Give none of this attention and start doing things that are expansive, creative. We have assistants in the game. They're part of the game. They're an illusion. They get to play out. How cool would it be to be a Council of Nine? I think that might be my next stop. Which means I better master this. We have to get to work. What do you want to be after this? Go into a space of total breaking through. Go into that fourth sight. Expand it. When you go into enlightenment, super enlightenment, there's awakening, there's consciousness. You're conscious that you are not this body. Awakening, you're awake to it, and that you know there's powers. Enlightenment is you just go into it, you stop asking questions. You guys have seen the book? You just stop asking questions. You just stop. You don't need to, because you realize you're coming from a dense body that can't have those answers. So stop asking the questions. You don't need to know anything. You are unlimited. Use it. And everything has purpose, and don't question it. Just go and be your best. So I'm going to teach you how to go into this space where you're actually tapping. Don't be afraid. There's nothing in that space that's going to bother you. When you shine light, nothing can touch you. Nothing. You know, I'll tell you this quick story before I go. I had somebody, I don't have visitors. No ETs, no dead people. Except for in my dreams, people in my family and stuff that come talk to me. But there was somebody who, in a dream, one of those dreams, you know, theta state, this is in Atlanta, knocked on my front door, and I opened it, and he looked like he came from the 1800s or something. He had this wool pants on and this cap. He looked like he worked on the railroad, and he was real tall and lanky, and he just stood there. And I didn't let him in. I said, you need to go. I knew he was dead. I said, you need to go. And he wasn't threatening. So then the next day, I'm in my bathroom, and I wasn't asleep, and somebody touched me here, and I knew it was him. So when I went back to sleep, he showed up, and he knocked on the door again. Very polite, isn't it? And I said, you are not allowed in this house. You need to go. Now, I look back and I think, maybe I could have helped him. Nah, I don't need to do that. He'll find his way back. And I'm not an expert in how to do that. But I felt a little bad about that later. I thought he just needed help, and the veils will start to come down. And so he never came back. So you can control that. You are not allowed in my space. You are not allowed in this house. But so many of you're not realizing your power, and you know you're in fear, and fear is a low frequency. So we have to be super careful of that. But just remember, they're all illusions. Those are illusions too. They're just playing out the role. As a dead person, he probably had some kind of trauma. But there was a railroad track close by. Probably some kind of trauma. His energy field was still hanging out in some kind of loop, possibly. Energy is just, cannot be created nor destroyed. So that essence of who he was in that lifetime somehow is not gone off. It's not sad. We're all one. We're all going to go to the same place. We are all already in the same place, all at once. Past, present, and future all exists at one time. That means you can change your past. I teach that in Breakthrough Fear, if you guys are in here. I actually teach how to change your past. And we do it. Yeah. I won't tell you how we do it. And also, I just want you to know that every choice you make is changing the pathway for a new program. And you and I get to create it. So we get to share it as a collective, but you can live out any life you want. And so if you learn from struggle might be there to motivate you to do something you normally wouldn't. Okay? That's what fear and struggle, they actually have some good points to them, especially fear. If I didn't have fear, I'd jump off a bridge, go, hey, this will be fun. Whack. So there's, it serves a purpose in this. So name nothing bad. I don't want to fear. I don't want to, quit fighting it. Quit fighting it. It's not you. It's just it's an emotion. It doesn't have to control you anymore. So Counsel of Nine, we have beings overseeing everything. You personally, I have 3 protectors. One's feminine, 2 are masculine. I've talked to them before, and it wasn't in sleep. I actually did a little astral projection once. If you remember years ago while I was meditating, I was on the other side of the room talking to one of them. I said, I think I'm going to give up fear. I'm going to teach you how to do this. If you want to, if this scares you, don't do it. Go into sleep state, and you'll learn how to do that. Go into sleep state, theta, and you can visit there because there most likely won't be fear there. And if there is, don't go into this stuff because then you're going to connect with the frequency of that. Right? This is why it has no power over me, because I'm on this frequency that I'm like, I know what you are. You don't have any power over me. Good luck. This isn't a battle. I love you. Goodbye. So again, if you're hanging out with people who are not good for you, love them and walk away. It's okay. It's called the no tolerance zone. I've shared this with you before. No tolerance means I still love you and I know we're a one, but you're making choices in a low frequency and I don't want to tune into that station. So I'm going to walk away because I'm actually going to facilitate positive things for that person by not hanging with them and creating more conflict for myself and them. All right? So I thought I'd share that with you. Dolores said that, yes, there's a Counsel of Nine overlooking the galaxy. I happen to have had that visitation. I loved it. And we're going to explore, as I shared with you, your powers. You ready to do that? So get ready. I think we'll start to do that. I'm going to bring back the Master Key System as I have in the past because we're going to have to get past this to get to that. And when you do, and you start to see some results, it's going to be mind-blowing. And then you'll realize this applies to everything because this is what I am. You are whole and perfect, strong and powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. Blessings to you, my friend. That is actually from the Master Key System. And they didn't create it. Somebody else used it and healed themselves. You can create whatever mantra you want. You have to believe it. It has to resonate with you. So after I end this video, I'm going to show you products that eliminate plastic, toxins, that'll clean up your body, and you'll get discounts too if you decide to purchase any of those products. I have my affiliate links in the description where you can go find all those things that I use, including my shampoos. Isn't this pretty? This is my natural hair thanks to that shampoo. It's doing its thing. I want to help you to go into that pure state where nature and you and I live with total respect. Blessings to you, my friend. Namaste. There are 3 links in my YouTube description that I want you to pay attention to. One is for Bite, no plastic. It comes in a glass container that you use over and over again. Some beautiful little pellets. You chew on them, brush your teeth. They make your teeth really white. They do not have toxins in them. All right? And did you know 1 jar equals 10.4 travel-size toothpaste tubes? That's insane. Blue Land is also down there. No plastic containers and everything. Cleaning supplies, soaps, all kinds of laundry detergent, all come in tabs that you dissolve in water or put straight into the laundry. And none of it comes in plastic and all of it is non-toxic. Of course, everything I use is vegan, no animal testing. So always go into my description because when you use those links, if there are any discounts, you will get them from those links. You'll get $5 off of Bite, and I believe it's a 15% discount. There's definitely a discount for Blue Land also. Let's make higher choices. Thank you.